Good morning to you, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here, Wichita, Kansas. Day 2 now of our hail project expedition. And I want to tell you, yesterday was a bust. And I think it's important to talk about that, why we did not encounter any hail whatsoever. We barely got even any rain. What happened? What was the problem? I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes chasing is hard, and that's not a complaint. I'm not whining about it. It's an observation. And we had everything ready. We were so excited to get the truck out there and to collect hail and measure it and show the world hail like they've never seen it before. And we came up with a big fat 0. So let me show you why. I'm going to do the recap first, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a briefing about what we expect today, how I think today will be easier on us overall. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about a couple of things related to hurricane season. I know you're watching that stuff too. I am as well. We're well aware of what's coming, and we're not going to ignore that. So let's just take a look at what happened yesterday. Well, when we got up and took a look at things, CJ and myself, this is what we had. We had sort of this bimodal threat yesterday, and I talked about it. This was one area up in western and northwestern Kansas. And then this was the other area down here along the Red River, and either side of that in Oklahoma and Texas. CJ and I were located somewhere near here in Wichita Falls. And I was like, yeah, we're right where we need to be. But the SPC said that this area wouldn't fire until late at night. And so CJ and I chose to go to this area. And that is a 7+ hour drive. So it took a while to get there. We arrived as the storms started to fire along the dry line through here. There was already a cluster that had formed up in here. There was lots of hail. There were some supercell storms. The dry line did fire. We got a few storms along there. Some of those were big hail producers. There's people out there, obviously chasers and otherwise. So we saw those reports coming in on NWS Chat or Spotter Network or social media, right? But we just didn't get there in time. And we could see the storms firing on radar, and it just takes a while to get to these places. And we're not going to drive 80, 85 miles per hour. In fact, with the new truck modifications, and I'm going to show you a picture of it, I try to keep it around 65 miles per hour as we continue to learn how the vehicle works with this huge aluminum hail guard put on top. It's different. So you don't want to just go, and you don't want to break the law anyway. We're certainly very safe, and it was just difficult to get to these storms. This is what the radar scope looked like from yours truly here, 7:04 p.m. Central Time yesterday. This would be us, of course, and we were trying to stair-step our way up towards, what do you call that, Leote, and then we were going to move over into this direction and have this severe warm storm move over us. And we were like, all right, at least we're going to get one. And this was producing 1 to 2 inch hail as it pulsed. And it had a severe thunderstorm warning polygon, as you can see. But then as we moved along and we actually reached Leote here, this had all but dried up. And so it was like, womp, womp. And that was it. There were no other storms back to the south and west. And we had driven all that way for nothing. But did we? Not necessarily. We were able to learn how the vehicle handles, how to operate the roof cam, the limited cellular connectivity out there. Look, I don't care if you've got live view, and people that know the chasing community know what that is. Bonded cellular from all the major carriers. There's just not much out there. And if a lot of people are using live view, there's still only so many cell towers. And we do have Starlink, but we don't have the in-motion version. And even if we did, I'm not taking that into supercells. So it's just hard to get a live stream out in some of these areas. Some are good, some are not so good. And, we just weren't able to succeed in catching the hail. But what we did do is start thinking about how to better do things with the vehicle, where to place certain things, and all kinds of ideas started coming into focus from sort of the defeat yesterday of coming up empty-handed. And so now today we're going to be much better prepared. We literally did some conference calls with our colleagues elsewhere. We have two Matts that we work with, Matt Harding and Matt Clemens, and he and I, those two Matts, myself and CJ, we all talked about things and we came up with a better strategy, we felt, including, and let me go back to the SPC graphic from yesterday. What if we had stayed down here, and what if, and these are all, Monday morning quarterbacking, right? The storms fired anywhere around here and they had big hail, because that's what we're after. Tornadoes are fascinating. They're incredible to witness and see as long as they don't hurt people and destroy property, right? But that's not our goal. Our goal is to study hail. So let's say we did stay back here and this all fired at 11 p.m. last night to midnight, whatever. And that's really late at night. Well, not a lot of people are going to be out watching our stream or whatever. But one of the things that we came away with is we know that we don't want to be out chasing hail at night, but if we are in any kind of a small city up to a big city like Wichita Falls, fairly big, Wichita itself, about 1 million people, right? And we're going to get a hail core coming through at night, and we can clearly see those on radar scope. Maybe we're there on purpose because that's our target, or we're there after a chase or whatever, and some storms are going to roll through. In any case, whatever happens, and we get a hail core in a city, we should get into like a Walmart parking lot or a car dealership with that big truck with all the protection on it. All those lights will be on, and we can at least document a major hail core event going through a city using all these cameras that we're going to have. So there's a win-win situation, something that I didn't even think of. I just totally wrote off chasing hail cores at night. You don't want to do that on some rural road. That's just ridiculously dumb, in my opinion. But if you do it in an urban setting, again, taking advantage of all those bright lights, and we know Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, any big shopping center, or these car dealerships, the big ones, they're going to have these very bright lights. So we can see, our GoPros will do well picking everything up. We can see to collect the hail. It's a much safer environment, and we actually can see what it does in an urban setting. So even the nighttime stuff is possible when necessary. And we didn't even really think about that. That was Matt Clemens' idea, and I really like it. So what about today? Let's move on to today. We have the enhanced risk up here. We look at the tornado threat. That's greatest up there at the top. And, 10%. The wind threat, pretty broad overall. You can get those really strong winds with some thunderstorms, of course. And then the hail, which is what we are after, that is in the red zone. So if we put the cities on here, one of the layers, we can see Kansas City and elsewhere, St. Joseph, Missouri, Topeka, roughly, kind of close to Topeka maybe. But that area is where we're going to be targeting overall, kind of up towards KC. So if we look at the map here and see where we are, we're in Wichita, and it is only about 2 to 3 hours to get up into this corner up here where the enhanced risk is greatest. Because what we think is going to happen is we're going to get a line of storms. Some of those will be discrete, supercell in nature, firing off the dry line, moving this way, generally with time later in the afternoon. And we, CJ and I, will be somewhere in this area well ahead of when these storms fire, so we don't have to be chasing them like yesterday when we had to come way down here, stair-step our way up, and then try to get over here, and the storms had already fired, some of them even coming out of eastern Colorado. The deck was stacked against us yesterday. Today, we're going to have the upper hand, and we're going to be in this area, and I think we're going to have a much better chance, and we won't have been driving all that time. Oh, we just got here and we're already tired. Nope. Got a good night's sleep last night. We are refreshed and we are ready to go. All right. So let me show you satellite imagery and, the weeds of what's going to happen. Just read the SPC guidance. It's all right there. We're already getting clearing through here, and that'll continue to push through. It's early. It's only 9:44 in the morning here in Wichita. So the dynamics are going to be there. The SPC guidance, the convectively allowing models are all suggesting that this region through here generally is going to have some pretty nasty weather today. And so I think we will be well positioned to do what we do. Plus, the cellular network, the terrestrial network as we call it, is robust through this region. So us and other chasers that you like to follow will have really good signals and hopefully solid live streams. All right? And I thought I had a picture of the truck. I don't have it queued up. That's fine. Let me just come back on for a second before we take a peek at hurricane season stuff. But it does have this big like turtle shell put on top, made out of aluminum. And it's on our Twitter from yesterday. CJ tweeted some pictures. And Fox Weather did a few pieces with us yesterday. But it's a pretty good hail guard on top. We can hang Lexan sheets on the sides to protect the side windows. It is very well constructed, heavy, sturdy, and we're going to be able to mount cameras all over it. We got different ideas of how to capture hail. Some of them are kind of silly, but they're going to work. And that's the bottom line. We want to show you hail, just get people following what hail does. Later on in May, we're going to talk to the folks at IBHS when they're out here putting these things called distrometers out into the hail cores. They're measuring the density of hail using these crush mechanisms. It's really, really fascinating. And we're going to continue after it. Yesterday, we struck out. We are 0 for 1, but whatever. We have plenty of opportunities to go. You got to persevere. All right, on to hurricane season real quick. Look, this is just not good news all around, and we will be focusing on this. Monday's my big update. As always, I fly back either Sunday night or early Monday, but we're going to be on top of this. And we are 76 days ahead of schedule, is what Mr. McNulty is suggesting here. There's where we are, and you can see that we are well ahead of where we should be, and we're even ahead of where we were last year. And this matters. It really does matter. My friend over social, never met Adrian in person, but I can't wait to do so. Look at this. This really should wake you up. We know hurricane season is coming. I'll outline it in black. This look, especially down here in the deep tropics, and the fact that the subtropics are cooler than average, this is the setup for a very, very busy hurricane season. We are going to be talking more and more about that. I can do multiple things, believe me. We're lining up people. I mean, I have to. I've got 7 children. Come on, I'm professional at this. Yes, I really do. Most of them are grown up now. Anyway, we're going to have people lined up to talk about everything from insurance to flooding to even the mental side of it. How do you handle this much bad news coming at you? And what do you do with it? How do you turn doom and gloom? I'm not trying to do doom and gloom. You know that. But look, this is just not, you got to face the facts. This is not a good sign. So what do you do with that? Don't despair. Turn that into some kind of action that can reduce stress and hopefully damage later. And then the number one goal is to save your life. Keep you alive so you can watch my next video. See, I'm very selfish, right? And that'll get taken out of context, but I don't care. I want you alive to be able to see what we do next, but also to keep you alive, because I appreciate that people like what my team and I do. I really do. All right? And that's why I wanted to be straight up about yesterday. We didn't get there in time, and we didn't get any hail. And so now we're on the second day, April 26th here. All right? We will be up and running on YouTube, and we'll be doing some work with Fox Weather, of course. Our YouTube will go live at 4 p.m. Eastern. So our back-end people, if you hadn't heard, that's when we're going to go live. And we'll then have the roof cam on as well, hopefully. It's a special camera up on top that looks back down this big turtle shell that we've got up there. And, we'll be live at 3. And then I think the network's good enough up there, solid enough, that we should be okay for the duration going into the evening. And I think we'll have a much better time of it today. All right. Thanks for watching, all of us at HurricaneTrack, the team, the folks of us, all of us on Patreon, everybody, the whole community that backs what we're doing. We all appreciate you tuning in and backing our program, as my dad used to say. We got you back there. We appreciate it. I'm Mark Sutta for HurricaneTrack, and I'll see you next from somewhere near Topeka or KC as we go after hail here on day 2.